Hello, everyone!
Hello!
I'm here with my friend Alon today. I'm excited. If you're here, please feel free. And we encourage you to be active within the chat because we're live. We can talk to you on the spot. Hey, Liz!
Hey, Liz!
Hi, Liz! Yes. So today we have some exciting things to talk about. We're going to keep this live relatively short, like 20 minutes or so. So just know that. We'll be talking about our experience after reading The Angel Experiment, a 21-day magical adventure to heal your life. Amazing. This is not sponsored, but I did link this book.
But it should be.
But it should
This
be because
point.
this is amazing. And I tell all of my friends to read it. And everyone who reads it, they're like, this book, oh my gosh, it changed my life. Literally miracles are happening. Things are shifting.
Yeah.
Alon being one of those people.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, this is Alon.
My name's Alon, everybody. Hello.
Alon is one of my best friends, and we are both certified life coaches and into the intuitive healing world as well. So yeah. Also, before we get into it, if you're watching, which whoever's watching right now, like if you're seeing this, you are watching. But I'm holding a Manifest with the New Moon ceremony on Thursday. I'll go more into that at the very end. But if you want to come to the Manifest with the New Moon Zoom call, we're going to go over manifestation rituals to go with manifesting with the new moon. Super powerful. It'll be about 90 minutes long, but I will link that down below if you want to go grab your ticket. It will be at 6 p.m. PST. If you can't make it at that time, it will be recorded and you can watch it and do it on your own time because the new moon energy is still very powerful for several days after that. Whew. Okay.
You got that out fast.
I was like, onto the angels. Get that out of my mouth. Let's get on to the angels.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Yeah.
Or morning, wherever you're at.
Where are you from, first and
Where
foremost?
are you from?
We're in LA currently. It is 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
But
yeah, should we
just talk about it?
On this?
First of all, I will also say, I'm going to save this story for a little later in this live, but on my second day of doing the activities in this book, literally had a freaking spider miracle. I don't have words. Can you share what I did? Like what happened or like the brief overview?
You brought a spider back to life.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't even
How did
know
I say it?
what else to say about that, but you can explain the whole story in a little bit.
Yeah, I'll explain that in a little bit. But it I told some people about it and they're like, you should share that on YouTube because that's a freaking
crazy
miracle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, should we talk about the structure of the book too, and what?
Just the general overview.
Yeah.
I think more so our experiences, but
yeah. So basically, there's a section before that you read about miracles and how there really is no such thing as coincidences.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge takeaway from this book when I really started implementing and ruminating on the fact that there are no such thing as coincidences. It really changed my whole perspective because I was able to go through this whole book and realize throughout my day, there are so many little miracles and that are constant and signs that are constantly happening that we all just take for granted. And I think a lot of us overlook.
We try to use our logical mind and over-explain, and that takes the magic out of life.
Right. Yeah. And so that was something that really helped me get through this experiment book because it was all the little things mean something.
And we kept track each day, what is going on, what miraculous little things and signs are coming up each day.
Yeah. So I had this little book and every day I would write, it gives you 10 or so questions, journaling prompts to answer. And I took it very seriously. And so every single day I answered all the questions. Some of them are there any reoccurring numbers? Because that's a huge thing, angel numbers.
Oh, I've always been into angel numbers.
Yeah, and so what synchronicities are happening in your life, or did you notice anything, strange or unusual happen? And every single day there was like so many little synchronicities
and big synchronicities.
So yeah.
And also, as far as the structure of the book goes, it's really cool because she guides you to where instead of reading it, like it will take you through it in a meditative form. And so like each day you're working with a different archangel or some sort of angel, and there are different special things that they specialize in, which is really cool. But yeah, this helped you through some, like probably some of the most,
like the worst
parts of your life.
Yes, like the worst period of my life. I was going through, well, this was the first time that I read this book last year. I was going through a really, really rough time. Just a depression. Like I couldn't even get out of bed. I was gone. I was like in bed, not doing anything, not showing my face. And Annie had already suggested this book like a couple of months prior, and I bought the book, but I hadn't actually started reading it. So I just had it on my bookshelf. And so I was just texting with her one day, and she was like, hey, well, you know, why don't you start reading that angel book that, yeah. And I was like, I don't even know, because in my mind, I was in such a bad mental health state that I was like, well, I'm depressed. I'm very low vibe. And I don't think that the angels would want to work with me. That's literally what I was thinking. I was like, I don't think that they're going to even like help or want to work with me because I'm just at a lower vibration right now. And
LOL.
And you were like, well, why, you might as well try.
Yeah.
You have nothing to lose. And I was like, well, okay. So I started reading it every single day, and literally day by day by day, I came out of my depression more and more. It was like from one day to the next, I was able to get out of bed. And then the next day I was able to cook a meal. And then the next day I was able to like go out and go for a walk. It was truly miraculous. It was truly miraculous how I was able to come out of this depression with such grace and seemingly, I mean, it wasn't effortless, but it definitely felt like a warm hug as I was going through it.
Yeah.
100%. I felt so supported, and yeah, I mean, I could get emotional even thinking about it, but it was truly miraculous.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So I recommend this book.
Yeah, and she's not even going into the details. Like,
yeah,
just like brushing over the top. Like there were some deep things that she went through. And if you want to briefly go over the illicit stat situation, I mean, we don't have to talk about that.
I mean, yeah, I don't really. Yeah, we can talk about it. So toward the end of the experiment, toward the end of the 21 days, we were all hanging out, me, Annie, and our friend Alyssa, and we were doing sort of like a ceremony, cord cutting ceremony for her father who had passed several years ago.
And we actually called on the angels. We're like, bring in her dad, bring in the angels, like, let's make this. Oh, because he hadn't crossed over.
Right.
He passed away when she was a child and hadn't crossed over.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, we're going to just do this little ceremony. And in the middle of doing this, I started I started hearing these messages come through that were like things that I wouldn't think to say. And so at one point I was like, Alyssa, did your dad call you kiddo when you were younger? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I think he's trying to communicate through me.
You didn't even say, I think you said, well, he says, you got this, kiddo. Because it was really hard for her to let go and to like let him cross over because of the fear. And you're like, yeah. Did your dad used to call you kiddo? And she's like, yeah. And you're like, well, he says, you got this, kiddo. And then that moment where you just take her head and go like this.
Yeah.
Which is something her dad used to do. And it was like almost his energy.
I did not feel like, I mean, I was in control of myself, but what I was doing it was not me at all. It was her dad. And that was a wild experience.
And do you think you would have been open to that energetically if you wouldn't have done all this work?
No, because I've never done anything that was medium related or nothing close to that.
And you just so happened to channel one of our best friends' fathers, who, like, that was a huge piece of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another huge thing.
Yeah, that was so cool and such an amazing process to go through together. And so that's still just like brushing over everything that happened. I also want to put out there that we're not talking about this in a religious stance. If you are religious, completely fine. If you're not, because at first I was like, angels, that sounds like religion. I don't know about this. That seems weird. But then I got into it, and it's like you don't have to have one structured belief system in order to work with this and do this. And like, actually, most religions acknowledge angels. Most spirituality acknowledges angels. That's one thing that they all like really have in common too.
Right.
Yeah, like different archangels, your guardian angels, all of these different things.
Yeah. Man, they helped me financially.
Yeah.
Throughout the 21 days.
So many things.
I mean, so many things.
I also, so I've read this book and it's been amazing. And again, I'm going to get to my spider miracle where I freaking resurrected a spider that I accidentally killed, which was insane. It actually happened while I was reading this book. But what was I saying before I get into that? Oh, so I've read this book. I've also read this book it's called Hiring the Heavens. And it's talking about working with spirit, working with angels, as well as my spirit guide book. And that's also going into working with angels. Mm-hmm. And one point that they make super clear is it's so often that we wait until we're in a crisis to reach out for help. Like, help me now, I'm suffering, get me out of this. But I just learned that they're here to help us all the time. Like, they want to help. That's the purpose. And like, we're sitting here from day to day, not even noticing them. Like, my thought is, if Louise was sitting here and I never even acknowledged her, like, except for when I was sad, that would feel pretty lonely, right?
Yeah.
Like, think of it that same way. Like, why are you not acknowledging? Why are you not giving it love? Why are you not, like, asking for support every single day? And when you ask for that support every single day, you get miracles, like, popping up everywhere.
Yeah. And another important piece is that the angels, like you were saying, want to help you, but you have to ask. Mm-hmm. It's that consent works in the spiritual realm just as it works on this 3D planet.
Yeah, there's that like law of non-intervention.
Yeah, like you have to ask for them to show up. And so if you're not asking actively, it's like they're going like, we want to help, but you just gotta tag us in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And also, again, because they want to help, you're not being needy. Like, one of the ways it was described is like the book, it's called Hiring the Heavens, one of the other ones. And one of the questions was that the author got was, well, if we're hiring them, what do we owe them? And the answer was, you don't owe them anything. Them helping you helps raise is the gratitude and happiness that you get out of it. So it's not about like, oh, I just received this thing and this help, so now I have to feel like remorseful and like, oh, I owe you so much. You being joyful and really taking that in and elevating your vibration is the payment.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a win-win for everyone.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
What do we have in here?
Someone said, can you show the book? I showed the book.
Here's the book. And so Alon did it. I did it. Our friend Evelyn read it. Our friend Carissa read it. Our friend Alyssa read it. Our friend Corey read it. Some of my clients have read it, and every single one who's actually really surrendered to it, they've all been like, that book, like, what the heck? That book is freaking life-changing.
I completed the 21 days, but didn't have big shifts or experiences. I was hoping for clarity.
What do you have a?
Yeah, there's so much in that. So first of all, when you go into it with expectation, you're already setting yourself up for, I don't want to say you're setting yourself up for failure, but yeah, like you want to go into it with no expectation, because that's kind of like, it's kind of like going like, well, I hope or I expect you to give me all the answers that I need in this 21 days or else. And it's really not about that. It's about setting the intention and just releasing and surrendering day to day as you're going through it. And sometimes it takes, I'm reading it right now again. A second time. And I'm sure I'm going to continue doing this like throughout my life. I mean, it's a timeless thing, a timeless adventure that you can go on. And so maybe try it again, maybe go through it again. And instead of, asking for or expecting something to happen in the 21 days, set the intention of like, whatever message needs to come through for me, allow that to come through. And just see what unfolds in that time period for you.
Yeah. I love that. I'm going to change my physical structure. How can I do that? That's for another time. Watch my video it was a couple videos back on weight loss journey, but consciously doing it through self-love, because that's how you shift and change yourself. It doesn't physically matter what you're doing so much as it does with, you can't say hi. Connor's like, no. Hey, there's everyone's favorite girl. I forgot what I was saying. But I want to share my spider miracle.
Oh, yeah. Spider miracle.
Because we are already 17 minutes in. So we might go a little over 20 minutes, but it's going to be not too much over 20 minutes. Anyway, so my spider miracle. I believe it's the second day of this book. Someone asked about the structure of the book again. So there's a few chapters. I'll get to the spider miracle in a second. There's a few chapters, again, going over like, don't brush things off as a coincidence. Like, nothing's a coincidence. Everything is happening in perfect timing, divinely imperfect timing. And she also explains how when she first started working with the angels, she saw a bird. She was driving and a bird got hit, right? Did she hit the bird or someone?
I can't remember if she hit the bird, but
a car and a bird got hit. And she was like, oh no,
yeah,
the bird. Like, I feel so bad for it. I want to go check on it, but I don't have time. I have to run off to my meeting. And so she's like, I'm going to try calling on the angels. So she called on the angels and was like, I don't know what you can do, but please send something, like send some sort of miracle for this bird, or like help the bird in some way.
But it was down. It was like dead in the middle of the street. And you continue.
Oh,
well, she started rolling. She was like on the same street still. And she looked in her rear view mirror, and she saw in the rear view mirror a bird, right?
No, what had happened was the bird that had got hit, she looks, and all of a sudden several little birds fly off right where it was, and there's no bird there.
Yeah.
So one big bird got hit, not big, but like one bird got hit, and she looks back and it's like morphing into multiple birds flying off.
If that's not a crazy story.
So that's what inspired me to like help the spider though. Okay, so yeah, there's a few chapters explaining that kind of stuff, and then it goes into chapters on all the archangels. Mm-hmm. There's a chapter that goes over all the different archangels that you're working with in this book, and describing what they do, what they help with, because there are different things that they do. And then it goes into each day is like experiment day 1. And then it's like just a few pages going over what angel you're working with that day. And then a meditation and like questions and things like that. So it was really simple, really quick read each day. So I think it was day 2 or one of the first few days. It was about releasing your fear. So I do this meditation on releasing my fear. And I'm like, you know, listening to the meditation because there's like an audio that you can go to and hear her read it rather than sitting there and reading it yourself. And as soon as I opened my eyes after this release fear meditation, I'm in a onesie, of course, on my parents' back patio. But I look down and a big spider is crawling out of the sleeve, like a big spider. To me, it was big, crawling out of the sleeve of my onesie. As I'm doing the fear release meditation, and I look at it and I'm like, ah! And I start like flailing, and I'm like screaming and like throwing a fit. And I open the sliding door and I'm like, Mom, there's a spider on me. And I'm like actually having a panic attack. There's a freaking spider on me, and I like run back into the back room and I rip my onesie off, and I'm like shaking. I'm like, where is it? It's in my hair. I don't know what happened, and I just like freaked out. And then I calmed down. I put my onesie back on and I go back outside, and I was like, first of all, so interesting that I'm doing a meditation on releasing fear. And then this fearful release and reaction comes out of me. And it's like, I'm so terrified by the tiniest spider. Like, think of how I'm handling all my other fears. I'm like spazzing out over a tiny little bug. And I was like, oh my gosh, that spider totally like represented me just like releasing that fear in that moment. And I was like, oh, interesting. So I was like, I hope that spider's okay. Like, I wasn't trying to hurt it. But I go back to sit down and I look, and the spider's mangled on the ground. And I was like, it didn't deserve to die. But then I had like a moment of I'm patting myself on the back because I'm like, this represented my fear, and I still am having compassion for that fear. I'm like, I didn't want you to die. And so I'm just like, oh no, like that wasn't the point of it. It didn't do anything. It wasn't trying to hurt me. It's just a spider living its life. And I remember that story about the bird. And so I look down and I like cover my hands over it, and I'm just like, I'm not expecting anything to happen. I'm like, I really don't expect anything to happen. But at least like call on the angels, say a little prayer for it, like its little spider soul, because even though it's a spider, it still is a soul. Like, angels, please help this little spider know that it wasn't on purpose, and like help its transition and help it feel better. Like whatever you can do, like bring a miracle to this spider's soul. And I just like sit there, not very long, with my hands hovering over it. And all of a sudden, this mangled spider starts twitching and just like gets up and walks away. And I'm telling you, it was dead. It was mangled. So that was my spider miracle.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.
I'm like,
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, but it doesn't surprise me. Well, it doesn't surprise me at all. Nothing's a coincidence. I don't think I would have thought to do that if I wouldn't have thought of the bird story. But also it was so cool because I thought back to when I was a kid and my mom and I were cleaning out the goldfish tank, and the goldfish like got crushed and fell on the floor. I was like, oh, my goldfish. So my mom picked it up and held it in the water and said a prayer, and it was bent in half, and it straightens up and starts swimming. And then that fish lived for 5 years, which is pretty long for like a Walmart 99-cent goldfish.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I feel like goldfish are indestructible. Spider whisperer.
So that was my spider miracle. Like, as soon as it happened, I messaged the girls and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Forget a spider miracle. What was that? So that is my spider miracle.
Oh,
so thank you, angels. And this book does go over working with the archangels, but I've also learned like we, again, have just our own guardian angel, our own like team. So like, even if you don't get this, start talking to them. One of the other books recommends like start talking to them, having audible conversations, like meetings with them almost. Yeah. Communicating with them daily.
And there's no right and wrong way to communicate. So if you're like, I don't know, should I pray? Do I say, dear angels? Like, what do I do? Just start talking. Just say like, hey, angels, my guardian angel, my angelic team, or all the angels in the sky, like, please be with me. And you don't have to say amen. You don't have to be like, it's not formal.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to get at. You just talk to them.
Yeah.
You don't even have to talk to them, but speaking out loud really helps, I think, with the, I don't know, the vibration.
Yeah, there's definitely like an extra added oomph to the communications when you're using that vibration of your voice. Yeah.
But of course you don't have to talk either.
Telepathically, you can even just have conversation. Just like when people do pray, they can either say it out loud or they can say it in their minds. But again, you don't have to think of it as prayer or anything.
Right.
Just like your little spirit helpers.
Yep.
What are you reading next? Where's my guides book? Where is my guides book? Oh, grab it. This is very similar. This one goes into angels as well as like spirit guides. It's called Ask Your Guides. I'll link this down below too. This has been really cool. The first like chunk of it's all about your angel team too. Yeah. So before you like go onto your guides, you first are like, your angels are your guides as well. They're like part of your guides. So
right. My imaginary friend was my guardian angel.
Oh, like when you were a child? Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of kids who have these imaginary friends are actually seeing spirits or angels. Or different things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So cool. I've been seeing 1111 and 555 everywhere as I'm manifesting something for 1 year. What does this mean? I mean, it's just like a really good sign. Like those are angel numbers. Those are saying
you are on the right
you
track.
Are on the right track. You're
Keep
supported
going.
And just like surrender into that message. Yeah, Sonia Choquete. I also have her oracle deck, which after this live, I'm going to go onto my Instagram and do an oracle card pull. So I've been doing those multiple times a week. So if you're not following me on Instagram, it's at Oma Annie with 2 H's. What about you?
Mine is at Elan Zelenka. So ELANZELENKA.
I put them down below so you can find Elan on there. Or you can just go to my Instagram and she's in my recent post tagged. So actually this one. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was so good.
So again, I'm going to go do a card pull, and Elan, if you want to stick around for a little bit, we can chat a little on there too, and we'll be a little more interactive on Instagram if you're down to stick around just for a little while longer.
Yeah.
Do you have a money manifestation course? No, but we could do a masterclass on it or something for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Your name means green in my language. I'm guessing yours. Elan, heart chakra.
Really? Cool. What language is that? I would love to know that.
Anyway, if you guys have any questions, follow us over right now onto Instagram, and we will talk to you over there. We can even do some quick Instagram coaching if you're up for that.
Yeah.
Cool. So one more time, the book is The Angel Experiment. I'm hosting a Manifest with the New Moon ceremony through Zoom on Thursday at 6 p.m. PST. And it's your last name in Bulgarian.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I'm Hungarian. So
there you go. Elan Green. But Manifest with the New Moon ceremony is going down on Thursday at 6 p.m. PST. Get your ticket. Again, it's being recorded, so please come live. But if you can't make it live, you can watch the replay, which will be available for 1 week after. And even if you're like, I don't know about if I can even make it within those few days, another pointer is you can always watch it, take notes so that you have a structure for your own next new moon ceremony that you can hold for yourself after that. But doing those things in a group setting is super powerful. So again, get your ticket down below. Super affordable. And with that being said, thank you, Elan, for coming. Thank you, angels.
Thank you, Lou, for showing up.
Thank you, Lou, for being a little kitty angel yourself.
Kitty angel. Kitty angel.
Okay. Well, I hope to see you all over on Instagram, and talk to you soon.
Bye. Bye.